So good morning, everyone. I want to personally welcome you on behalf of the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice to this FAU Explore event. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning to come and learn about our criminal justice program here at FAU. We have a great group of people here to speak with you this morning, and they're going to be able to answer any and all questions that you have related to the criminal justice program and careers in criminal justice. So related to that, please make sure that you ask us questions throughout the discussion. There is no need to wait until the end. Ask as we're talking, please. You can use the chat function at the bottom of your screen, or feel free to raise your virtual or your real hand, and we will call on you, and you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question out loud. No need to be shy. We are a friendly bunch here. And then I also recommend that you select the speaker view option in the top right of your Zoom window. This way you'll be able to see whoever's speaking. They'll always be up front and center in your screen. And then finally, I just want to let you know that this event is being recorded. And on that note, I'm going to ask all of our panelists to briefly introduce themselves to you, and then we'll get going into the program. So I'm going to start, since I didn't introduce myself earlier. My name is Dr. Cassandra Atkin-Plunk, and I am the Associate Director and an Associate Professor here in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice.
Morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Seth Fallick, and I am the Undergraduate Program Coordinator for the Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice. And let's go to Sigal next.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Professor Sigal Rubin, and I am the Field Experience Coordinator or Internship Coordinator for the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. Brian.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Lawson. I'm an alumni from FAU as a student, and currently I'm a special agent with Department of Defense Criminal Investigative Service.
Hi everyone, my name is Erica Stone. I'm currently a student here at FAU in the Criminal Justice Program. Thank you all for spending your Saturday with us. Ms. Fallick.
Good morning, my name is Caitlin Fallick. I'm an academic advisor for the College of Social Work and Criminal Justice. Tom.
And good morning, everyone. My name is Tom Budge. I'm an assistant director over here in our admissions department. My role today, I'm going to kind of go over and moderate our chat. So if you've got any of those admission specific questions, I'll be on hand to make sure those are answered for you. And then I'm not sure who's next.
Thank you. We've exhausted all of our panelists. So now we're going to turn it over to Dr. Fallick, who's going to talk to you all about our undergraduate Bachelor's of Arts in Criminal Justice program here at FAU.
Thank you, Dr. Atkin-Plunk. So as I said previously, I am the Undergraduate Program Coordinator for the Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice program here. And in addition to that, I'm an assistant professor. And so you're going to have the opportunity to take a number of classes with nationally and internationally known scholars and practitioners. And through our degree program here, you're going to have a minimum of 10 classes with these folks. Now, 3 of which are going to be required. Those 3 are ethics in the criminal justice system, methods of research, and criminology. And they cover really important topics we want our graduates to have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to navigate once they're out in their careers. So ethics is going to allow you, especially with the criminal justice issues today, to navigate controversial and ethical questions with some skill sets that are going to be very useful. You'll then go on to methods of research. We want our students to leave with the ability to think critically about evidence-based practices, adopting them in their practices. Most of our students are going to be going to law enforcement, legal careers, victim advocacy. And because of that, we want you to embrace research as a function of those professions. And you'll pick up the skills in doing that in methods of research. So there's one sequence in this entire degree program. And what I mean by that is you have to take methods of research prior to taking the last core class, which is criminology. And criminology is the cause or the theories behind criminal behavior. And so you'll get sort of the gamut of what we believe as far as evidence-based research suggests causes criminal behavior, and then perhaps even more importantly, what we can do about it or what we should be doing about it, either with the criminal justice system or social services. So those core classes, 9 credits of your 30 credit degree program, leaves a balance of 7 additional elective classes. Now you can choose elective classes on any one of our many topics or aspects within the criminal justice system, everything from victimology to, if you want to go into law enforcement, you can take Policing in America, Introduction to Forensics, you could take Fundamentals of Criminal Investigations. There's classes on corrections, there's classes on terrorism, there's classes on whatever aspect of the criminal justice system that interests you. We've got a class that's going to address it. And like I said, these classes are going to be taught by folks that are either all have terminal degrees because they're full-time faculty, folks who have multiple degrees in it, or in our instructors, or even people who are out in the field actually doing that work. For example, our Introduction to Forensics class is taught by the crime lab director. We've previously had and currently have district attorneys teaching our classes on law. We have folks that have worked in federal law enforcement teaching our classes on terrorism. So these are all folks who are dealing with this on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, you're getting the real world experience in the classroom that they have to offer. Some of the additional sort of interesting classes that we offer are the death penalty, classes on gangs, serial homicide. Everybody kind of gets excited about that class because it's, what Criminal Minds and CSI is all about. We've got classes on crime analysis. So these are all sort of really interesting because the class particularly on crime analysis is being taught by an assistant chief for the Coral Springs Police Department. And so why is that important? Well, he's the actual hiring agent for that agency. So everything that is hired within the 125 law enforcement personnel, and then an additional 200 folk that are in civilian positions, goes through him. And so I want to just sort of highlight, and as I kind of wind down, some of the really important worldly translational experiences that you're going to have as part of this program. A lot of our classes, especially in the law enforcement space, are going to have you with the opportunity to do some ride-along. So this will give you some experiences with officers as they're out in the field. We have some of our classes that offer jail tours, and we actually have a criminal justice club that promotes a lot of these events where you will go to jails and prisons and sort of give tours of what you can expect as a correctional officer in those institutions. And then we have a guest speaker series. Now, historically, that speaker series has been academics, but of late we've brought in folks that are involved in trial consultancy, folks that have worked in numerous capacities with the criminal justice system. The last thing I kind of want to talk to you about that I think is really important, that I hope while you're here you take advantage of, is an opportunity called Directed Independent Studies and Directed Independent Research. These DIS and DIR classes offer to students one-on-one mentorship with a faculty member. And so these are typically for folks who have an interest in graduate degrees or even just getting involved in research more broadly. And so what happens is you get one of our full-time faculty, you get immersed in their research agenda and participate actively in it. You're doing the data collection, you're doing the cleaning, you're doing the analysis, you're doing the dissemination or presentation of this work at regional and national conferences. So getting involved, I would say, is probably the biggest thing that you should do. We have a lot of opportunities for involvement in our program, be it the club, be it directed independent research or study. And so these are opportunities that I hope that y'all embrace while you're here. So, and if you have any questions, as we previously mentioned, feel free to enter them into the chat. And I guess with that, I'll turn it over to Professor Rubin.
Hi guys, I'm Professor Rubin, and like I said, I am the Field Experience Coordinator here in the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. I really just wanted to chat with you about field experience or internships, which are really an extremely important part of your college journey. The first thing that I really wanted to talk with you about is how college students can benefit from internships. And there's a big difference between learning something in the classroom, which absolutely has its advantages, and learning it hands-on. But that's why it's really such a fantastic opportunity when you can put them together. And that's exactly what an internship is. It gives you the opportunity to apply your classroom learning in a professional environment. Even more important than that, it gives you a real taste of the actual professional experience of the specific career before you fully commit to it. It gives you exposure to the field that you're interested in. And guess what? You might find out that you're actually not that interested in it, or it's not as exciting as you thought it would be. Like Dr. Falik mentioned, you see these shows and they don't live up to expectations once you go and do internships, and you're like, no, I'm much more interested in this other position. And, maybe next semester you're going to intern in that position to see again if it's in your wheelhouse. So just remember that an internship can help you find your passion as much as it can help you realize what you don't want to do. And both of those things are very beneficial to you. It's also a critical way for you guys to establish networking connections. You can build these contacts with the agencies and the organizations that you're interested in. And many times these internships have actually acted as a stepping stone and have led to full-time employment after you graduate. So that's a very big deal. There's something that I mentioned in last week's event that I think is important to mention this one. And I can't tell you how many times I have students that come to me and they're saying, but these agencies, these organizations, they're looking for previous experience and I don't have any. And I'm trying to get some, but I can't get some without already having some. And it's this very circular and frustrating problem that many students of our that many of our students, face when they graduate from college, and they expect to be hired right away. They have this new degree, and it just, it doesn't work that way. So internships are a great way for you to get your foot in the door and get that coveted entry-level experience that a lot of these agencies and organizations are seeking. And really the last benefit that I wanted to mention is just the most obvious one, and that's the one of it's a resume booster. If you apply to an agency or an organization or even graduate school, that looks very, very good on your resume that you went and got hands-on experience and did something in your community and went and applied your classroom knowledge in a professional setting. That looks really, really good. And it's something that can really only benefit in helping you get to where you want to be. So a little bit about our specific field experience program. As of right now, 21% of our graduating seniors held an internship, and that rate is definitely going to increase because I am really looking forward to making some positive changes to our program. In the past year, students have interned in a bunch of different locations like the U.S. Marshal Service, the ATF Miami Field Division, Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, Broward Sheriff's Office, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Boca PD, Delray Beach PD, Boynton Beach PD, FAU PD, which, yes, that is a real police department, the state's attorney's office, Punta Gorda PD, Miami-Dade Corrections, the Department of Juvenile Justice, if you're interested in working with juveniles, Broward County and Palm Beach County Public Defender's Office, the Department of Children and Family Services, a lot of different law offices like the Berman and Berman Law Group. Something that I'm very proud of, one of our current field experience students is doing her internship all the way up in Long Island, New York at what's called I keep forgetting the name of this place, the Empowerment Collaborative of Long Island, where she's working with trauma victims who are now suffering from substance abuse. And, so that's interdisciplinary also with social work. So you can see that, there's a lot of interconnections with other disciplines that you might want to double major in or minor in. And it can open a lot of doors for you in that way. And the reason I bring her up is because she's also able to do this internship all the way up in New York and get credit for it here at FAU. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think on my end, that's it for me, folks. I mean, if you let me, I would go on talking about internships and the benefits all day long. But we are on a time crunch, so I am going to pass it off to Special Agent Brian Lawson. And I really hope to meet some of you guys very soon in the future.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Lawson. I want to welcome you guys to come to be here for today. Feel free to ask questions. If I'm just going to kind of highlight like what I do for my career and in my experiences at FAU. And then if you have questions, please ask. I don't want to sit here and talk about myself, but I do kind of have a diverse background in law enforcement or in the criminal justice system. Which is good because there's such a vast variety of fields you can go into. So just a brief synopsis, I was in the United States Coast Guard. I served in a military maritime enforcement capacity, so a law enforcement role with the Coast Guard. From there, I was in corrections doing community corrections with Florida Department of Corrections, Probation and Parole. I was community control officer for them for a time where we did house arrest and supervised parolees and every type of offender you could think of. As well, from there, I went to the United States Secret Service as a special agent. And from there, I was assigned to Miami originally, the field office where we conducted criminal investigations, financial crimes investigations. And then from there, during my time in Miami, I was also on the DEA task force. Where we worked narcotics investigations. I was a task force agent there, so I worked, full-blown narcotics investigations as well as conducted financial crimes investigations. And yes, they do overlap because there's a money laundering aspect to it, so that's why. So from there, I transferred up to Washington, D.C. I was on the Vice President's detail, where I served in a protection capacity to protect the Vice President and the second family. Just recently, I transferred to Department of Defense Criminal Investigative Service back down in Fort Lauderdale. So I'm back down in South Florida, which I love. And I get to do criminal investigations, long-term investigations through the Department of Defense. So just to talk about my time at FAU, the good thing, like I mentioned earlier, the great thing about the criminal justice system is there's just so many varieties of fields you can go into. Professor Rubin, Dr. Fallick all mentioned those things prior. The judicial system, the correction system, the various types of investigations you can get into there with all the local agencies. So there's there's the city and the police, the county police, sheriff's office, there's the state law enforcement agencies, and then there's numerous hundreds of federal law enforcement agencies you can go into. There's also crime scene technicians, social work fields where you can get into probation and parole as well as academia. So all these fields you have to kind of maybe touch base with and see what you like. So being at FAU, it was great because the classes were so well diverse that you kind of can touch into those little areas and see what you want to get into. And you don't really know until you are exposed to it or you hear about it from a professor or, the professors were great there. They were professional. Like I said, they were well diverse and you get to get guest lectures and guest speakers from people in the field that will come into the classrooms and talk to you. I do it. I enjoy doing it. I did it prior to moving to Washington, D.C. and hopefully in the future, I'll do it to some of your classes that you guys are in. But, we try to give you real life examples of what's going on. So that's great when it comes to the faculty there. The curriculum is very good. Dr. Falk mentioned all the different types of classes you can take, and that's great because the more you prepare yourself while you're in college, the better, and take advantage of internships and take the classes, the better you'll be to get a career after you graduate from FAU. The student alumni, I can't speak enough. I'll let Erica touch on that, but I have lifelong, friends that I developed going to grad school with. Some of them are prominent figures in law enforcement agencies, or just, working agents or police officers or whatever vast field they're in. So they're colleagues of mine, and we share that camaraderie because we all went to FAU together. So without a doubt, I started at FAU early in my career, and I couldn't have got to where I'm at without FAU. So I owe a lot of gratitude to the university. That's why I like to come back and speak and help out any students I can during this time period. And yeah, FAU is awesome. So that's basically kind of what I want to mention and talk about. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Going off of what Brian said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them in the chat. We'll answer them as we go. Just want to keep you engaged. So as I go on my rant and going off of what Brian said, the faculty and staff at FAU, specifically in the criminal justice program, are unmatchable and remarkable, to say the least. First of all, you do have to put in the effort. You have to put in your time. But once you do that, they'll reciprocate that immediately. The amount of time that they allocate to their students is unbelievable. I mean, I know that Brian said that he wouldn't be where he was without FAU, and it goes the same to me. I've transpired into this person I never kind of thought I was able to, or I had the potential to, but they see that in you. If you put in the time and you're there after class, you're sending them emails, you're getting help where you need to, you're not falling behind, they'll put that same effort in for you. The attitude that they have, they want you to success. It remains constant throughout to succeed, my bad. It remains constant throughout your career at FAU. They listen to you, they hear you out, they understand that life happens, and they want to see you do good things in life. And with that said, even if within our criminal justice program, there's a lot of room to do a lot other things. If you want to double major, if you want to pick up a minor, and they'll help you do that. They'll help you do whatever you want to do. If you tell them what you're interested in, they'll hear you out and they'll be there for you. A large amount of faculty have helped me grow both personally and professionally. I found myself being offered opportunities I would have never thought I was capable of. If you guys remember what Dr. Falk was saying about directed and independent research and those classes that you can take once you're higher up in your degree, I'm actually taking one of those right now, and I actually was a recipient of this thing called SURF at FAU. It's Student Undergraduate Research Fellowship, where it's like a 10-week program over the summer. It's kind of a little build off of like a DIR, like a directed independent research over the semester, but it's 10 weeks one-on-one with a faculty member, and they bring you into like their personal lives, what they've been through, kind of some struggles that they want to help you with, some things that I never thought I would be exposed to or have the opportunity to hear about. I mean, you get to go into their lives and see a little bit about what it's like to be a teacher, to succeed in your career, to move past that, to get that network, to kind of be someone that, or be somewhere in life you never thought was possible and you didn't know about because you're not there. And going off of like the classes, when it comes to our criminal justice program, picking classes might be the hardest part. Me personally, like, do I want to take Policing in America? Do I want to take criminal justice technology, or do I want to take the death penalty? And that's where it comes into like, what are you into? What do you want to do? Like what Miss Rubin was saying, you find out what you like and also what you don't like. It allows you to grow, definitely, and figure out kind of where you're at and what you want to do. And going off of that SURF program, I was paid to do that over the summer. I was paid over $3,000 to do research, and I never thought that I was capable of writing a manuscript to present at these presentations where a bunch of people are looking at you, they're listening to you, they want to know what you can do. And just personally, that was mind-blowing. I never thought that I would ever have that opportunity to attend a national conference or speak in front of people, even have that confidence. And in our criminal justice program, those professors give that to you. They're there for you. They put in that time, and it all comes off of you. Do you want to be somewhere? Do you want to be someone? Do you want to get that internship, get that job? Do you, and they're here to listen. I mean, I can't express enough how much time teachers have taken out of their day to help me, and how that's helped my personal and professional life immensely. Going off of that, we have so many opportunities that I've personally taken advantage of. Like, I know Brian was talking about all of his career expertise, but at FAU, they, like, people like the FBI and those teachers who are like some of our professors, like from the sheriff's department, the police department, they all sit there, and it's a career center, and you get to go up, you get to talk to those people one-on-one. Very nerve-wracking, but very worth it, to say the least. You get to see what their job expectations are, what they're looking for, what you can do to further your success. And as long as you put in the effort, you keep communication, you try your hardest, the teachers, the professors, their program will help you. As long as you want to succeed, you can. That was my little rant.
Thank you, Erica. And so while Erica was paid to do her surf fellowship, she was not paid to say all those really nice things. So that comes straight from her heart. Thank you, Erica. So we're going to turn over to Mr. Brunswick, who represents our Career Center here at FAU, who's going to give you a little bit of an overview of what the Career Center can offer to you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Carl Brunswick. I'm the Associate Director of the Career Center. I'm actually housed in the Davie campus, so I get to work with a lot of the criminal justice students and the professors a lot all the time. So I would like to say, the great thing about working with the Career Center, guys, is we can help you work on your employability skills and help you navigate your job search and your internship search into the world of criminal justice. We help you work on your employability skills as far as we can help you build a resume. We can teach you how to interview properly, because we all know as professionals here, if you can't interview properly, you won't get the job. And the great thing about interviewing is it's a learned skill. We all learn how to drive a car. We all learn how to ride a bicycle. And then the Career Center can teach you how to interview properly. Because the criminal justice, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be excellent at your career and going into that field. But if you can't interview, you won't get a job. So we can teach you how to do that. The Career Center also has every semester an internship and part-time job fair, where we invite a lot of the employers that they just mentioned to our internship and part-time job fair, where you can actually speak to someone directly about maintaining and getting an internship. Through the Career Center, you can also register for our internship course and get course credit for your internship as well, from 0 to 4 credits. 0 credits, so it costs you no money, and it would just be a notation on your transcript. But anything from 1 to 4 credits, you will have to pay for through your financial aid, because it is a class, and you will have learning objectives in that. But it's a great way to highlight the learned skill from your internship onto your transcript and onto your resume as well. Our platform that we utilize is Handshake. So you all do have a Handshake account if you have an FAU email. You go on Handshake and you can set up an appointment with me in the Career Center. You can do a virtual appointment, whether it be over the phone or through video. And we can do all those things that we just discussed as far as resume building, register for a job fair, practice interview, sign up for an internship, register for an internship, and we can also help you find an internship. And on the very end, we can also help you find a job. We actually just had a really awesome information session with the FBI. And when I tell you, it had me so excited, because it's funny, because I'm not the FBI type of person, but I have my brother is a cop. One of my best friends from college is in the FBI, and another good friend of mine that was also a fraternity brother works for the Secret Service. So I'm surrounded by people that work in the criminal justice system, and I'm so not that. But they come and they host information sessions, and the last time the FBI hosted the information session, it was like Law and Order. They had like a whole they had it so set up where we were actually tracking someone. You got to see it. It was like a stakeout. I kind of want to go to the FBI at that point, but it's great. So I will say, first step is to sign up for your Handshake account. Second step is to set up an appointment with someone in the Career Center, and let us help you map a plan and guide yourself from your entry into FAU to your graduation date. And it's never too early to start. If you're a freshman, great. We can sign you up for a job shadow, where you can actually go for a couple of days during one of your breaks and shadow like a police officer, or shadow the FBI, or shadow Homeland Security. Then we can set you up for an internship your sophomore and junior year that can possibly roll over to your senior year, where you will be walking out into a job. So let's create the plan now. It's never too late. It's never too early to start. So that's my spiel from the FAU Career Center. Nice to see you guys.
Thank you. So we are opening this up to any questions that you all have. I know we've thrown a lot of information at you, but we have a number of experts here who are going to be able to answer any questions that you have. So please let us know what we can answer for you. And if you have the question, I guarantee you somebody else has the question. So please don't be shy. This is your time. I'm happy to continue talking. That's what I tell my students. I could talk for, hours, but we would really love to hear from you all.
While those questions are waiting to roll in, there was a program that I forgot to mention that I think is something that our potential students might be interested in. If you're one of our high achieving students in the program, you've got an opportunity to early join the master's program. And so what that means is with your remaining credits, you can take some of those credits and count them both towards your undergraduate degree and your master's degree in criminology and criminal justice. And so this is known as our combined program. And our combined program targets the folks that are really high achieving, but also want to expedite the process of their master's degree. So they're really motivated to get a graduate degree. And because of that, they've got space towards the end of their bachelor's degree that they can count both towards their undergraduate degree and their master's degree. It's a unique program that I think it's in its first year here at year two here at FAU, and we're seeing a lot of success with that program.
Yeah, we definitely are. And I just want to add, we have so many opportunities here for our students to take advantage of. Erica mentioned that. Professor Rubin has clearly mentioned that with our internships. Mr. Brunswick mentioned that with the Career Center. There are so many different opportunities for you to take advantage of, you have to take advantage of them. That is the point of college, is to learn and to expand and to do things that you never have done before and you never thought you could do. As Erica said, she never thought she would do research. I never thought I would do research. I never had planned to be a college professor. It's just kind of where I ended up. I did an internship during my undergraduate career with a police department, and I loved every aspect of it. And I learned I don't want to be a cop. So I learned from that internship that this was not for me. But I take those experiences with me to this day. But part of it is taking advantage of all those experiences and learning what is for you and what's not for you. And while you're going to get some of that in the classroom, you're going to get a lot of that outside the classroom. And while it's important to go to class, it's also important to really, take advantage of all the different opportunities that are available to you. FAU is a fantastic place. I've been working here since I graduated with my PhD. I moved here from Texas, and I wouldn't change it for the world. This is just a fantastic university to be at as a professor, and it's because of our students that it makes it so great, is to be in the company of students like Erica and the hundreds of other students that we have that are just so dedicated. And you're going to make lifelong friends from being at FAU, as Brian said. And I'm sure Erica has made tons of friends here. These are people that you're going to lean on through your career. You're going to lean on through your academic career, and you're going to lean on through your real career. If you ever get a real career. I feel like I'm still in college. I just kept going to school until they told me I have too many degrees and go do something real with my life. Please ask us any questions. Like I said, I'm happy to keep talking. Somebody else can cut in and.
I would like to say, we do have a website that they can go to. It's called the FAU's What Can I Do With This Major? I did put the link in the chat box, but if you Google FAU What Can I Do With This Major, you can actually see all the majors that we have, including criminal justice. It's in alpha order. You click on the link and you can actually see all the different job titles that you can pursue with a criminal justice degree. So I did put that in the chat box. So feel free. Someone did ask, does the COVID situation affect the availability of getting internships? I would like to answer that, if you don't mind. It hasn't really. Everybody has been able to adjust, especially coming into the spring now, going into the spring. Employers have been able to adjust their ability to conduct internships virtually on some aspects, as well as now face-to-face with the correct face shields and coverings and stuff like that. So COVID did affect it initially in the summer, of course, and in the fall while people were trying to figure out how to bounce back. But I fully project in the spring, people will have figured out a way to conduct internships face-to-face, partly virtually as well too, because business does go on.
Well, and one of the things about that is our criminal justice field is they are first responders. They're not people working from home. They are people out in the field. I mean, Special Agent Lawson, I'm sure, can speak to that. He probably hasn't worked from home. Well, maybe one day, but he is out in the field, right? He is not.
So I wanted to make a clarification that the internship program that I'm referring to is different than the internship program that Mr. Brunswick is referring to. Okay, so the internship program I was talking about, and I should have mentioned this, I'm sorry, you will get 3 credits for it. Okay, and you have to complete 170 hours with the agency that you will work with. And you and the agency will figure out how you work out those hours on your own. We're not going to tell you. I mean, if the agency and you want, if you guys make the agreement, hey, I want you here at 3 a.m. and that works for you, that works for them, great. It's not our choice when you're going to work with them. So the hours are on you guys. You do get 3 credits that count towards your criminology and criminal justice credits here. That was impacted highly by COVID, actually, in the summer and a little bit in fall, like Mr. Brunswick was talking about. In spring 2021 and summer 2021, the internships have opened up. There are still some agencies and organizations that are not bringing students in yet. They just don't feel comfortable. But again, this is something that is going to get better and better per semester, not worse. So that's something to keep in mind. And Mr. Brunswick, if you could talk a little bit about your field, how that works, and the credits a little bit, that would be great.
Again, our internships through the Career Center is just you'll be getting course credit for the internship or job that we find that you do that's related to your field. It could be with any company that you choose that is tied to your major. But we offer course credit through our class as well. And like I said, it's 0 to 4 credits. And 0 credit is of no cost to you, but it is a notation on your transcript. 1 to 4 credit comes with a certain amount of hours tied to it and a certain amount of how much each credit costs for your tuition. But you can register for the class through our internship class through IDS 3949 is our internship. And we offer that for any company that you go to.
Something that I did want to add, going off of all that, internships are to gain experience and also network. But and it did get worse over the summer. But something that I personally experienced was kind of somewhat of an alternative, which our SURF program and doing research. I gained that personal experience. I gained networking. I gained those skills that even though COVID came, our professors and our programs still moved forward, and we were still able to go through that and learn, and it wasn't halted by that. So although it's getting better, I still had the opportunity to do that, to learn. And with going off of what Brian said and Dr. Plunk said, having those colleagues and having those connections that you make within our program and those students, they reach out to me every day. They tell me about jobs they get, things that they're like perspiring to do, everything. They keep updates. You get this really awesome community of people who are there for you and who you can, they're your network. They're people in this world who are doing things in life, and so are you. And they can also just be a resource for you. So I just wanted to reiterate on that and share my little 2 cents. So thank you.
Yeah, last March, very quickly, all of us had to become experts in Zoom, WebEx, Teams, and because of that, Now it's sort of old hat. I mean, Erica is a DIS student of mine, and so we speak weekly via for an hour, Zoom or Teams, sometimes FaceTime, just whatever modality we can get our hands on that's best suited for the occasion. And then part of that also means that I have other students that I work more one-on-one with as well, and I bring all of them into the conversation, and they're at various points in their academic career. So we have Erica, who's an undergrad student, who's also receiving mentorship from 2 graduate students who I'm also mentoring. And so you see generational sort of knowledge being passed down, and also learning from one another along the way. So it changed. I would say absolutely, COVID changed things, but the work must be done. So the work didn't stop.
Also, just from an operational perspective, yeah, like everyone's mentioned, like law enforcement is going to continue to operate and work. And beginning day one of COVID with the outbreak, like I was still working. I was still in the vice presidency all the time, so I was going to work every day. But law enforcement everywhere is going to work. So I do know that, like I can say recently, just from perspective of my agency and Secret Service, our prior agency, they just recently started opening up vacancies for student interns. I saw one recently, like probably within the past week, with Department of Defense, based out of DC. But so they're starting to open things back up. I mean, they won't obviously they never put the students in harm's way, just like our administrative staff and stuff like that. As law enforcement officers, like we still have to work every day, and our admin support specialists on those roles still have to come in. But I guess it's always been worked around the past few months with COVID. But yeah, it's going to open up, as Dr. Rubin said, over the spring and fall. I foresee. I think that'll happen as well.
Thank you all. What other question? Are there any scholarships meant for the criminal justice program? Yes, we do have some dedicated scholarships for our students only that are not open to the entire university. You have to be a criminal justice major. And then there are additional scholarships that are open to the entire FAU community. And so any student is able to apply. But yes, we do have scholarship opportunities available.
And those scholarships are both need and merit based.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to jump on there very, very quickly if I can. So when you go through your application process, you're going to really, really want to do your FAFSA. So I'm not sure if anyone has mentioned your FAFSA, but essentially it's an automatic application for over 250 different grants and scholarships. So when you do that, it's not the most exciting process in the world, I'll be honest with you, but it is really, really well worth it. Obviously, my position in admissions, I oversee our campus visits program. I have a lot of students who come in and work for me, and lots of these students are work study eligible. So their position is work study. And to be work study eligible, you have to do the FAFSA. So not only are you applying for all of these grants, these scholarships, but you're also, putting your hat in the ring for employment on campus as well. So again, super, super important to go ahead and do your FAFSA. We also recommend, if you're looking for, some of these scholarships that aren't necessarily criminal justice specific, that you're proactive, right? You head to our financial aid website, you'll see a list of tons of different scholarships there. And we also recommend that you head onto a website called FastWeb. There's lots and lots of scholarships here as well. So if those are the opportunities that you're looking for, I'd say they're kind of the places to start. If anyone has any more questions about that, just let me know.
Tom, do you mind putting that last website that you just said in the chat?
Of course, yes, I will do that right now.
Great,
so
thank you.
FastWeb.
Because I had not heard of that before.
Yes, it is. So we do recommend to all our students who are applying that they're proactive in terms of their search for scholarships, right? A lot of these scholarships that students are looking for, they come from pots of money, and these pots of money are unfortunately not bottomless, right? So they do end. So we recommend that you apply for those as early as you can, and then you're giving yourself the best chance, the best opportunity to get those scholarships. And we understand that they're hugely important to students. Money is a big factor in the college decision process. We also recommend that our students head over to something called Raise Me. I don't know if anyone here has heard of Raise Me. It's essentially micro scholarships. So if you're attending class, you can earn a micro scholarship. If you come for a campus tour, you can earn a micro scholarship. So again, you know, all of these small things that you're doing anyway, you can get money to do it, right? So why would we not do that? So we definitely recommend that you head over to Raise Me as well. And I mentioned tours, and we're still running campus tours. So if anyone does want to come and check out campus in person, if you head to fau.edu/visit, you will be able to do that as well. And there we'll give you a little bit more information on the application process, as well as, you know, we can help that scholarship hunt that we know students are really, really keen for. So I'm going to just pop in here, edu/visit. At the minute, our campus visits are available until, you know, that Thanksgiving week, until the 25th of November. We're running them Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and we've also added a couple of extras in on a Monday and Friday as well at 3 p.m. Because we are limited in capacity, so we're limited to 15 people total per tour. But we know how important it is for students to get onto campus, to kind of see it, feel it in person, rather than on Zoom. So again, if you're able to, definitely recommend that you head on there. I can drop my email in there as well if anyone needs any help and support getting those campus visits kind of locked in. Perfect.
Great, thank you. Yes, if you haven't been to the FAU campus, at least the Boca campus, I highly recommend going. It's an awesome campus.
In the chat, I've also added a link to the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice specific scholarships, and then the link to the university scholarship and financial aid page as well.
Great, thank you. We have a couple of more minutes, so if there's any additional questions, we are here for you. I'm going to share my screen with you all really quick to give you our contact information, or the contact information for the people who are on this call, so that you are able to reach out to any of us at any time. I did not include Erica's contact or Special Agent Lawson's because I did not ask them for their permission, and I did not feel comfortable doing that. So I have included everybody else's contact information. Also, I did not include Tom's, but he added that to the chat. So please feel free to reach out to any of us as you know, want to learn more about FAU, learn more about our program, any questions that you that didn't go answered. Any of us are happy to answer questions for you. And so, you know, again, I just want to thank you all for, you know, attending this breakout session, and we hope that you enjoyed learning about our program. We're always here to answer questions for you. So please, you know, feel free to reach out to us. And I just added in the chat the link to the main event page. So you can use that link to go back to find your next presentation. But again, thank you all for coming, and we'll stick around if there's any additional questions.
So I know we have around 10 minutes left.
Oh.
I don't know if anyone's interested, but we have a virtual tour online, which is really, you know, it's actually pretty awesome. You can, you know, it's as if you're here in person walking around campus. I'm able and willing if anyone would like to go over that with you. If not, I will leave it for those kind of academic based questions. But let me know if that's something you're interested in. I'm happy to do that real quick.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do you want me to turn my video on, or?
That's up to you, whatever you'd like.
Okay, I'll do it so you can see me. Oh, I don't even know if you can.
No, I just see a camera screen, a camera with a X through it. So
Oh, well.
don't worry about it. Good try though. Technology, right?
So what are some like business, or not business, sorry, like like job opportunities in the field? I know we already kind of talked about it, but yeah, so just more maybe.
Yeah, I mean, really the options are endless. What are you interested in related to criminal justice? And what do you have an idea of what you're interested in?
I'm not sure. I was thinking either going into maybe more law, but then I don't know. It's just such an interesting and so in depth. Like there's just so much you can do.
Yeah, I know, and that's a problem, if you will, that the whole field is interesting, right? And so trying to narrow it down to what actually interests you, and you're going to learn that through your classes. As you start taking classes, it'll become more clear of what interests you, or you're going to have the opposite problem, and you're going to be like, I'm interested in everything. But there are tons of different career opportunities related to law, whether you plan to go to law school, and I believe that there's a session later on
Yeah.
law. And so I would highly recommend going to that. We do have a pre-law group, club, I guess, on campus. You can be a public defender, you can be a state attorney, you can be a private attorney, you can work, to potentially be a judge, you could be a court reporter. I mean, there's so many different avenues within the area of law specifically. And I believe Mr. Brunswick also put in the chat earlier, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, make sure that you go to that link that I provided to you. What can I do with this major? That answers your question 1,000-fold. Because I actually just pulled, because I have my Surface Pro, so it's so weird when I go back from screen to screen. So I actually pulled it up on my phone. We actually go through the sample work settings. We go through the sample work titles that you can do. And you can actually click on those work titles, and it'll take you to the Bureau of Labor Statistics actual median salary range and what the job outlook is for the next 10 years, and if that field is actually growing or shrinking. So click on that link that I provided to you in the chat for what can I do with this major, and it will show you the sample career settings and the sample career titles that you can do with your major, because it is abundant, and there's a lot of things that you can do with that major.
There's tons of things you can do with a criminal justice major. And I will say, for better or for worse, crime is not going away anytime soon. So there are always job opportunities available, and we have an incredibly high placement rate. Our students who graduate from our program, at least 3/4 of them go on to get a job within 1 year after graduating in their major. So again, that's incredibly high. You're not going to see there be a decrease in jobs related to criminal justice. So you're picking the right field.
Yeah, I will say, just to piggyback off what you're saying, I just pulled up the titles, and they go from everything from computer forensic investigator, corporate investigator, correctional officer, DEA agent, FBA agent, financial investigator, tons of things that you would not even necessarily think of yourself unless you go to this tool that's provided to you. So it's a great resource. I wish I had it when I graduated FSU with my marketing degree.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And your professors are here as you're going through your degree and you're trying to figure this out. What is the right option for you? What's the right path for you? The Career Center is there for you as well. They will help with that. There's lots of different people who will help guide you as you're trying to figure out what's best for you.
If I can add too, just from like the, again, from operational, I guess. So outside of like police officer, like uniformed police officer jobs for like the local municipalities, in the federal government, there's like 400 and something agencies. All agencies kind of have a niche, I guess you could say, or a specialty of what they do, especially in law enforcement. But then there's a lot of agencies that overlap. So depending on what you're interested in doing, which again, this kind of goes back to internships and experiencing and exposing yourself to those things and seeing what you like. I've worked narcotics investigations, but I've also worked a lot of fraud, and I enjoy working financial crimes investigations. I like the long, complex perspective to it. But there's so many avenues that you could go into, and they do overlap. Being with the Secret Service, we worked financial crimes, but we work joint cases with FBI. We work joint cases with Homeland Security investigations. We work joint cases with a lot of smaller Inspector General agencies. So there's so many aspects that you can get into. just from the federal government side. But you don't know until you get out there and see it. You may think you know what an agency does, like everyone talks about the FBI, right? Because it's the big F, it's the 3 letters that everyone can say. But there's so many other agencies that you could work for, and you just gotta be able to get out there and see those things. So kind of goes back to like what areas to study and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing. Just want to add that part.
Thank you. Any other questions? We're, got a couple minutes, I think, before your next event starts. If there are no other questions, it's been a pleasure to talk with you all and to let you know about our program. And we hope to see you all at FAU in the very near future.